Are you ready? These exercises with your pelvic floor consideration in mind are going to be focusing on your glutes, your core, and your inner core function. My name is Krista Dennett. I'm a pelvic floor exercise specialist, and I'm really excited to be bringing to you here on YouTube videos with exercise routines that have pelvic floor considerations in mind so you can feel confident when you are going to the gym or working out on your own. I would be most appreciative if you took a moment, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe to my channel. That way I can continue to offer these free video resources for you. In this video, we're going to be working with looped bands. If you don't have looped bands, I have put a link to my Amazon associate account for some amazing loop bands that I just picked up myself. I prefer a fabric loop band and ones that are wider with a grip on the inside. That way they're easier to get on and off and they don't bunch up around your legs. In this particular package, we have heavy, medium, and lightweight. Which one to use depends on a couple of factors. One, your fitness ability, and two, the movement of choice. If you're new to exercise, then you may want to opt for the lighter weight band or no band at all to start, and progress yourself to the medium or heavyweight band. Now, with respect to a movement, the wider we're going to be moving our legs to activate the glutes will guide whether or not we'll use the light, heavier or medium weight band. So play around with it. There's nothing wrong if you've chosen the wrong band at the beginning. Maybe it's too hard, maybe it's too easy. Just swap them out. And the final thing I'm going to say before we get started is my camera might go a little bit in and out of focus. Don't worry, as you subscribe and help me out here, I'll be able to get some better equipment. But that's not going to change the fact that this is going to be an awesome set of exercises for you. All right, grab your bands, grab a mat, meet me on the floor. Let's get started. I'm going to show you 4 different exercises that hit your glutes, that hit your core, your outer core muscles, with your inner core function and pelvic floor function in mind.
Please take a moment to read the disclaimer and make sure that you are ready and able to complete physical activity. If you're unsure, please see your doctor.
This first exercise is actually 3 in 1. We're going to be doing some bridges. This is a fantastic movement for working on the coordination of your pelvic floor and breath in movement. If you're not familiar with how to connect with your pelvic floor and breath in exercise, I highly recommend, first of all, checking out my Think Beyond the Kegel playlist, which are about alignment, breath, and pelvic floor contraction. Or if you know that you're not familiar with engaging and working on your pelvic floor in exercise and movement, then you might want to consider one of my pelvic floor exercise rehab programs to train that inner core how to work in exercise and movement. And my final note, Kegels aren't always the right thing to do. So if you do have hypertension or you know you have a hypertonic pelvic floor, then I'm going to suggest in these movements you just focus on your breathing and not worry about your pelvic floor contraction. All right, with that said, let's do the bridge. I'm going to be doing some small movements with my legs, so I'm going to opt for a heavier band. So I'm going to go with the purple. The purple is the heavier of the band in this group of bands that I purchased. And don't forget, you can grab them down below in the comments below. All right, so see how easy that goes on? I'm going to go onto my back, and I'm going to give you a few tips about the bridge before we get started. I want my glutes to work. If my glutes aren't working and I'm feeling it in my hamstrings, chances are my feet are too far away from my bum. That's tip number 1 for the bridge. Number 2, we're going to talk about flow of breath. I'm going to exhale up, inhale down. Not obsessively, but flow with breath in that pattern. Anytime we want to exhale in a movement, especially when we're working on retraining our pelvic floor, we want to exhale on the exertion part of the movement. Lifting our hips off the ground is the harder part of the movement because we're working against gravity. So we're going to exhale up and inhale down. And finally, I want to feel a connection to my pelvic floor with my exhale right before I lift my hips and see if I can stay connected throughout. Don't forget, if you do have hypertonic pelvic floor, just focus on your breath. All right, we're going to do 16 bridges, but as I go up, I want to drive my knees out slightly. Not enough so my feet open up, just a little bit. So here we go. We're going to do 16. So exhale up, drive the knees out slightly, inhale down. Don't have to get too obsessed with your breath because you'll see I'm going at a pace. that might feel like you're hyperventilating. Now I'm talking to you and I'm still connecting to my pelvic floor a little bit. I'm not doing it constantly on every movement because for me, I have a tendency to become hypertonic in the pelvic floor muscle. So I just want to make sure I can feel it lengthen and relax and then work to keep me engaged. You know your inner core is working because it helps with the lift. Otherwise, you'll feel like you're lifting a little bit more dead weight, for lack of an example. Okay, we've got 5 more here. 5, and then we're going to hold this bridge up. 4, 3, 2, last one. Hold this one up. Don't put your bum down. Tuck your shoulders under a little bit. All right, we're going to march. Drive your knee up for 1. Now again, where's my breathing happening? It's harder to lift the leg off the ground. So if I need any kind of inner core support, it's as I bring my knee up. So exhale. Good, just like that. 8 more. Our inner core, or pelvic floor function, is responsible for anticipating movement and stability. So by connecting to it in movements like this, it makes it easier for all the other muscles to work. Good, last one. All right, hold it up, don't bring it down. I'm gonna bring my knees out and in, just slightly, not too much. Out and in. Exhale. So for this one, I'm gonna exhale through the movement. And then when my knees are back to the starting position, that would be when I would inhale. But again, we don't want to obsess about it. We just want to be aware of it. Good. Let's go 6. You should feel some burn here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going into those bridges again. We're doing one more round. So bridge up, drive the knees out a little. 1, 2. If you need to pause at any moment, change how you're doing the movement, that's okay. Don't mind my little doggy outside, he's just bugging me. 6, 7, 8, aw, keep going. 9, what fun would these videos be if there weren't some funny stuff going on in it, right? 6 more, you can do this. 5, 4, I'll show them to you one day. 3, 2, last one. Hold this up, good. Let's march for 16. Woo. Oh, wow, this is good. Feel this working. Hip flexors may try to work here too much. They might start to burn. So you need to think about glutes. Think about a little more coordination with breath. Maybe not move your legs so much, just a little bit off the floor. Let's go 8, 7. When I talk, I lose track of numbers of where we're at. So I'll stop talking for a minute. 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the hips up. Drive the knees out and in. Out and in. 15, 14, 13. Feel the burn. 12, 11. Got 8 more. 7, 6. Oh yeah. Feel it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And there is movement number 1. Movement number 2 is called a sideline bent leg raise with a band. I'm using the medium band because I'm going to move my leg a little wider apart than I did with that bridge movement. So I want you to lie down on your side. And dome alignment is important here. 1 dome, 2 dome, 3 dome. Remember, you can watch my alignment dome video to understand what I mean by that. I don't want you to have your head tucked here. Nice dome alignment, resting the head in line so you're not up on here, up on your elbow. Hand on your hip, because I don't want you to rock back and forth, so you'll know you're rocking back and forth if that elbow goes back. So I'm simply going to lift my knee up, driving with the outer leg, keeping the foot flexed. We don't want like a floppy foot. Nice flexed foot and down, okay? Where is the hard part of this move? Lifting up. So that's where I want to think about exhale. Use that inner core to help make this movement easier for the outer muscles. Here we go. So let's go 8, 7, 6, 5. Should feel this after those bridges, right? 3, good. 2, and 1. Okay, flip to the other side. Watch my camera go blurry just for a moment. It's trying to chase me. Okay, here we go. Set yourself up, and away we go. 8, 7, 6. Feel the burn. Tell the butt to work. Sometimes the butt doesn't want to work, so you got to talk to it and say, work. Let's do 3, 2, and 1. Flip back to the other side. One more time each side to finish off this movement. And here we go. 8. Oh yeah. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, feel the burn. Last one on the other side. Flip it over. I don't give you much rest, do I? There's a reason for that. Good. 8. When we keep going with momentum, as far as like pace, I should say, not momentum, it makes the body work harder, gets the heart rate up. 3, 2, and 1. And that completes movement number 2. Movement number 3 is a plank tap out. So I've opted for the medium band because I'm going to be tapping my feet out side to side. You can put the band above your knees or down by your ankle for more of a challenge. Today, I'm going to opt for it here because we've already worked these pretty hard with the bridge and the sideline bent leg raise. If you are not quite strong enough to do a plank from hands to toes, you could opt for just doing it from knees to hands. Just hold the plank instead of doing the tap out, or forearms to knees as well. So just hold the plank while we're doing our tap outs is an option for you. You're still going to focus on your breath and you're still going to get some good core work going on there. Okay, I'm going to go from my hands to my toes like so. The movement is simply stepping out side to side like this. All right, we're going to go, here we go, 16, 15. What are we doing with our breath? Well, I'm thinking about when do I need the most support? Let's do 8, 7, 6. It's when I'm moving my leg. 4, 3, 2, and 1. So it's almost like I'm just thinking about every time I move my leg, do I have support? Not just in my pelvic floor and my inner core, but do I have support in my shoulders, in my lats, between my shoulder blades, in my core, glutes working. So you want to think about all of that when you're doing your plank. The other thing to note is, you'll see with my plank, I like to keep my hips just slightly below my shoulders. You're not down here, right? And you're not up here. So it's down just below your shoulders. And careful not to hyperextend the back. Turn your tailbone like you're trying to tuck your bum under, and then you'll start to feel a connection between your hip bone. Let's do this one more time. 16 tap outs. 3, 2, 1, and go. Tap, tap. Do I have tension between my hip bones here, or does my belly feel like it's hanging out? So make note of that. But you don't want to bear down. Bearing down is very common with plank. That's why we don't recommend plank challenges, especially for postpartum women or women who don't know if they're connecting to your pelvic floor. Let's 3, 2, 1, and down. You want to make sure that you are breathing and feeling a lift of the pelvic floor. Sometimes we have a tendency to bearing down. Bearing down is when we're just trying so hard that we're putting too much pressure on that pelvic floor. So that's a very important thing to keep in mind. If you're not sure if you're bearing down, then I would recommend opting for just a regular plank, work on your breath, work on connecting to your pelvic floor. So that completes movement number 3. Okay, movement number 4 is in 2 parts as well. We're going to be doing side steps and forward and back steps. I'm opting for the medium tension band. You may want to go for the lighter if you're more of a beginner in the exercise, but if you're more advanced, go for the heavier band if you want to. At the end of the day though, it's up to you what feels right. The reason I'm choosing the medium is because this is our 4th and final movement where we have been working on some glutes, so they're going to get really tired, so I'm going to give them a little bit of a break than what I normally would do. Side stepping, here's some important tips with that. You're going to lower down into a squat position. I want you to make sure that your knees stay at least over your shoelaces, but you're not tracking forward in your upper body tops, because people are usually like, oh my gosh. No. So you want to sink down, slight hinge of the body, domes are aligned. Sometimes we're like, just make this be over. No, keep it here so that we can set up that inner core to have the space to flow. So we're just going to focus on our breath here for this one. Tip number 2 is watch how your knees are tracking. Start and finish position should be feet hip width apart. All right, so you don't want to be stepping apart and then bring your feet right together. You know you've cheated because that band's going to fall down. All right, I think I have, this is the lighter band, but that's okay. We'll just stick with this one. We've gotten a good burn going on. All right, so I'm sinking down, and then the third tip is you don't want to reach with your toe. You want to drive with your leg, keeping the space equal or even, and knees always over top of those shoelaces. So we're going to go side to side. I want you to do a total of 16 steps in each direction. So depending on the space you have available, you may only be able to do 2 each way or 4 or 6, whatever that may be. Work it up so that it makes to be 16. So I'm going to step out 1, 2. Notice I'm keeping that distance. 6, 7, 8. Now I'm going to go back this way. 8, 7. Feel the burn. Don't forget to breathe. Alignment. 4, 3, 2. I don't quite have enough space. And back again. 8, 7. Now this band's a little looser, so I probably could do some bigger steps, but for the interest of space in this video, I'm going to keep it like this. Good. And back the other way. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, oh my gosh, 2, and 1. Okay, the second part to this is we're going to be going forward and back. My knees are always going to stay in line with my hips over top of my shoelaces. I'm going to have my dome stacked. I'm not going to be praying that this is over, okay? Nice active step. When I take 1 step forward, I make it small, and then the next foot has to come ahead of the other one, like so. Then we're going to go backwards, okay? Keep that alignment, dome alignment. Careful not to hyperextend the back. Feel some tension between your hip bones, so you just want to bring your tailbone down just a tiny bit. Don't forget to breathe, and here we go. Forward. Not big steps, not big steps. Drive those knees out. Feel the tension up the side of your legs and into your glutes. Good, and then back. Again, we're going to go this 2 times backwards. To me, it's harder. Good. Make sure you know where you're going. Don't want to hit anything or fall over. Last time. Woo. And back. Final movement. And you are done. Okay, there you go. Just to recap, we used a fabric-based loop band that's wide with a little rubber grip on the inside. Makes it easy to get them on and off and it doesn't bunch up. I've put the link to my Amazon Associate account where I got these bands from. Your support in using my Amazon account would be greatly appreciated. So what do you do with these movements? Well, you can do them on their own if that's all you have time for in the day, or you can incorporate them into any other workout routine. You could even do them right before you go for a hike or a run. It's a good idea to get those glutes warmed up before you go and do a cardio activity like that. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, I would greatly appreciate it that you gave it a like, even make a comment below. And don't forget, it helps if you subscribe to my channel so I can continue to provide you with these free video resources. This particular category is going to be my exercise and workouts with pelvic floor considerations in mind. If you're not familiar with the pelvic floor considerations, I recommend 2 things. Go to my Think Beyond the Kegel playlist, watch at least the alignment, breath, and contraction videos. And if you're definitely unfamiliar with how to coordinate that in exercise, then consider one of my online self-directed programs, Think Beyond the Kegel, for basic general pelvic floor weakness, leaking, low back and hip pain, prolapse, diastasis, and hypertonic pelvic floor. And of course, you can always work with me virtually in person for that extra care and attention of that one-on-one service. For all the information on the services that I offer, please visit the link in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching.